Hi, I'm Becky. Welcome back to my channel. My channel is What Beck Sews, and this series is all about recreating the autumn trends looks. So this is really difficult for me to do at the moment because the sun is absolutely beaming outside, but I'm all ready to go for a long workout, but I thought I would do this vlog beforehand. Now, I've done lots of research, and initially today's vlog was going to be all about trousers, skirts and tops. But actually, when I started looking at the tops and started looking at what was trending, there was so many that there is no way that I could break it all into one vlog. Otherwise, you'd all still be here next week. So I am just concentrating on tops today. Now, as I mentioned in the last vlog, there was lots of things that were very much the same. The colours that are trending, there's a lot of black and white stripes out there. There seems to be this huge thing with monochrome looks, reds, lavender, your normal sort of browns and oranges that you'd expect to see in the autumn, and then you've got cobalt blues as well, and magenta, kind of pinky colours too. So lots of different colours about this year, but the monochrome in the tops particularly, so having that black and white stripe, you can actually see some just there behind me because I've been working on some black and white stripe tops this week. So yeah, it seems to be very prevalent on the marketplace at the moment. So with that in mind, the first thing that I really want to talk about is just the long sleeve tee. It's an essential staple, it's a basic. I feel like everybody has them in their wardrobe, and there are so many different patterns out there, and particularly when looking around in the trending sections of a lot of the websites on the new in high street websites, there was a lot of long sleeve tees. So I thought I'd start with some basics. The first one that I went for was a real good beginner pattern, and it's the Tilly and the Buttons Agnes top. This happens to be a favourite of mine purely because I love the scoop neck of the neckline on this. It's sort of the perfect neckline for me. It's a really nice fit. It's definitely a fitted long sleeve tee. Actually, I have to grade mine out to give it a less fitted version, but it's great. It's really size inclusive. She resized this pattern a little while ago, and it really works for that long sleeved tee look. So that was the first pattern I came up with. The second one that I came up with is actually a free or pay what you can afford pattern, which is a new release by the lovely Friday Pattern Company, and it's the Bateau top. Again, I thought this was perfect. This definitely fitted in with the black and white tops that I saw trending in the way that it was styled, and I thought it was just a great option for you to give you something outside of the pay for patterns. Another one that I saw, which I really liked, and it's actually piqued my interest that I may have to go and buy this. Now, a lot of the t-shirts that I saw were scoop neck, crew neck, but I did see a couple of v-neck, and there is a t-shirt or a long sleeve tee, but it's also a t-shirt because t-shirts are still very much trending at the moment. That was the Builder t-shirt by Wardrobe by Me. Sorry, I will get my words out. And I thought this was brilliant because you had a boat neck, you had the v-neck, you had the scoop neck, you had the crew neck. You basically had every version that you possibly could. And I thought this was a really good wardrobe staple that gave you a lot of versatility, and you got enough for your buck. Enough bang for your buck. Is that the right expression there? Enough bang for your buck. So yeah, the Builder t-shirt by Wardrobe by Me was another one that I came across. There was two tops that I came across from Vicki Sews, which just gave a slightly different skew on the patterns. So they were still long sleeve tees, but they had a bit of shape and styling to them. So the Laura top by Vicki Sews had like an asymmetric cross across the bust, and I thought that was quite interesting. It was a really nice detail, but of course you still had that very much long sleeve tee, but it just added a little bit of interest to that long sleeve tee. The other one was the Laura top. Sorry, the asymmetric top was the Terry top. The Laura top is the low scoop, but it's like a side scoop, so it comes further down up here, so it's sort of like got that kind of look to it, and I thought that was really interesting as well. It was just another interesting detail to what is a basic staple in your wardrobe that you can pair up with anything. So that was the long sleeve tops. The next one that I came across, there was lots of these aren't going anywhere, like shirt dresses. The actual shirt itself, they were everywhere, and these were in pinstripe, these were oversized, these were fitted. Shirts were very much around. There was pattern shirts, there was a couple of pattern shirts that I saw. There was a couple of sort of very plain shirts. Black and white stripe was another one that I saw. Very man style shirts. Yeah, there was just loads out there. They were all over and they were all trending. So I came up with, I went off and I had a look and I wanted some different patterns, because all of the shirts that I discussed in my autumn dress ideas the majority of them could also be shirts, but I wanted to give you some different shirts. So the first one I have got is an I Am Patterns, which is the Hermes top. Now, I've never made this. I love the look of some of the I Am Patterns. I thought this was quite nice. It's quite fitted, but still oversized, and it has a nice tunic length to it. Now, obviously this can be a dress as well, but I'm focusing on the shirts only, and I just really liked it. I like the hem of it and the way it's got a slight split even in the tunic length style. So I thought that was a great option for a first sort of go-to shirt. And I Am Patterns I have always previously found, I've never made this particular pattern, but I've always found that their instructions are really good and heard brilliant things about them too. So the other one I found was a Style Arc pattern, which is the Phoebe shirt, and you'll have to forgive me for keeping looking down. I've got all of my notes here because there's no way that I was going to remember all of these things. But the Phoebe shirt from Style Arc is an oversized shirt. It is very much what you would expect from an oversized shirt. Really liked the look of this. It's kind of like a men's style shirt in the way that it's drafted, and it's got a really nice statement cuff to it. And I just thought, again, that was another interesting detail to the shirt. So yeah, that's by Style Arc, and you can get that on PDF, and yeah, it's just a really lovely pattern. The next shirt that I've got, again, I've stuck with oversized, as this was predominantly what I saw, and this is the Assembly Line oversized shirt. So exactly what it says on the tin. So this is a very classic and traditional styled shirt, but it is just oversized. I thought this was really, really nice. And for me, if I was going to make an oversized shirt, this would probably be the one I was more drawn to, because it's that classic style. And actually, I'd probably size down to make it more fitted, because that's just the way I like my clothes. But I thought this was a good option. The final shirt that I've got for you, which is one that I know is quite well known in the sewing community, one that I've heard really good comments about. I know one of the Stitch sisters made this shirt in a bright pink, and it was gorgeous. I think she also made it in a green, and it's the Cynthia Blouse by Vicki Sews. Again, I've never personally made a Vicki Sews pattern. I find that they tend to be very trendy, very up to date. I find that they're usually quite figure hugging, and I do stray away from really figure hugging patterns. But this pattern, I really like the look of. So that's the Cynthia Blouse by Vicki Sews. So that was the shirt section. And obviously, as you get every autumn, you've got blouses, lots and lots of blouses. So I saw a few different styles and shapes of blouses. I saw the nice flowy type blouses, lots of gathering. I saw a lot of wrap style blouses as well. Your kind of boho, gypsy-esque kind of chic. Just, there was so many blouses out there, and there was lots trending, to be honest with you. I'd like to say that there was a particular style and shape that seemed to be everywhere, but yeah, I saw lots of different variations. So what I've done is I've taken from that inspiration, I've gone and found some blouses that I think would fit some of the ones or recreate some of those looks on the marketplace at the moment, or on the high street. So the Tilda blouse by Maison Fauve was the first one that I thought would be quite a nice one. This has just a really interesting pleat detail across the bust and down the sleeve. You've got two different sleeve options, and it's got a gathered cuff. And it is just your, you know, exactly what you say on the tin. It is a blouse pattern, but it's just got those little interesting details that just give it that little bit of elevation. And Maison Fauve is quite a popular pattern company at the moment. It's becoming well known, especially over here in the UK, because they're a French pattern company, well known over here in the UK over the last sort of 12 months or so. The next blouse that I found was a Size Me Sewing blouse, which is the Florence blouse. I thought this was a very different looking blouse to the first one that I picked. I associate this one, for me personally, more with sort of a workwear feel to it, but maybe that's just because of the design on the cover of the pattern. This is really nice. It's got a gorgeous cuff detailing. I really like the cuff detailing on this, and it's got that raglan sleeve. Now, I sew to raglan personally, so that's why I'm probably quite drawn to it, because of that sleeve. I find that it's quite flattering across my figure, and it always tends to fit me quite well. Another blouse that I came across was the Regala blouse by Sew House 7. Now, you could also have the Marnie blouse by Tilly and the Buttons, but I have specifically chosen the Regala blouse by Sew House 7. I haven't made this yet, but I really want to get this made up. This is one that typically has that gathering, and you've got a very nice high neck on it as well. I would say it's quite fitted across the top, but actually then it's slightly looser fitted at the bottom. And this is one of those blouses that would be great made up in both a structured fabric, so like a cotton, or a viscose, and you get very different looks from which one you make it out of. So I do really like the look of that one. I think that one's going to have to go on my own autumn plans. Another blouse that I found was the Dotty blouse by Style Arc, and what I quite liked about this was it was the wrap style. So I've been seeing wrap everywhere, and I thought that this was a good option to explore. And when looking for more wrap style blouses, there was less choice out there. So this would be really nice in a floaty fabric, I thought. I will link I will link down below all of the patterns that I'm talking about. So if there's one in particular that you want to go off and have a look at in more detail, I know that I'm giving you a high level view of them, then just go down, check it out, click the link, take you to wherever it is that you need to buy it from if you want to purchase it, or if you just want to have a peruse. And the last wrap style blouse I found, which is an Etsy pattern company, well, it's not Etsy pattern company, they were on Etsy, and it's coralina patterns, I think that's how you say it. And this is the Anita Blouse. Now, I'm sorry guys, this isn't the most size inclusive blouse. In fact, this is probably, out of all the patterns that I've chosen throughout some of these series, this is the least size inclusive. So I do apologize, but I really liked this blouse, and it does only go up to a size 16. And I just thought that this was a really nice wrap style blouse, and it fitted with some of the ones that I'd seen on the marketplace. I also thought that this would be a nice hackable blouse as well. I don't know how easy this would be to try and size up yourself, and I don't actually think you should have to do that. But it is an option there, and I will link it down below if it's something somebody's interested in. So another popular style trending, and this is definitely feeling more autumnal now, because you are talking about knits and wearing the warmer stuff. So most of these can be made out of stretch jersey, viscose jersey, cotton jersey. When I say stretch jersey, I mean sort of like a poly type jersey. You can make some of these out of fleece. You can make some of these out of your more structured knit fabrics, cable knit, for example. I tend to find that's a lot less stretchy. But these are trending everywhere, and these are the open collar top. I really like this look. I started seeing this come in winter time at the beginning of this year, but it seems to have really taken off. These were everywhere. So you had the open collar dresses, but the open collar tops, and all of these I think would be adaptable if you're making it up in, say, like a viscose jersey or a cotton jersey, to extend them down if you're comfortable with a bodycon style dress. Wouldn't actually take that much, or even to add a A-line skirt to the bottom, which again would be quite simple to draft because it's knit fabric, easier to fit. If you prefer something a little bit flowy over the tummy, but you want a dress style of this, you could potentially do that with it too. So the pattern that I found here, the first one that I want to talk about is the Style Arc Ralph Polo knit top. Now this is you can see that's inspired by the polo shirt. What I will say about Style Arc patterns is they're not the easiest to sew. Their instructions aren't brilliant, so I would recommend having a bit of experience behind you. Although it is slightly easier when you are sewing up in knit. But yeah, a little bit of experience always helps in those circumstances. The next one that I found was the McCalls M8240, and this is again, it's a jumper pattern. It's got like a button placket collar here. So I saw some versions made up in this where you've got poppers in here, some made up where you've got buttons here. I think obviously it depends on the style that you want, but I thought this was great and almost a direct mimic of some of the ones that I saw online. So yeah, that was an interesting one. I also thought you could do that in a cable knit or a fleece. I thought that would be quite nice. The reason I keep looking up is behind you is my window, and there is a humongous spider on the other side. Now I know it's on the other side, but it's really freaking me out. So I'm just keeping an eye on it to make sure, you know, it doesn't magically appear through the window. Anyway, let's carry on to the next one. So the Lindsay top by Vicki Sews. Again, zip up front. Again, these were quite heavily trending everywhere. There's lots of different zip up ones like this, but you can have it unzipped and you've got that open collar view. And this is the Lindsay top by Vicki Sews. I thought this was a really nice option as well. And the final one that I have in this category is the Mimi G Simplicity S9182. And again, it's another zip collared top. The collar is separate from the zip on this. So you've got your zip and then you've got the collar. So you're not actually forming that collar from having it undone. But I really like this. I'm not too keen on the fabric that Mimi G's modelled it in, but I do quite like the top. So there's a couple of options there. There are plenty more out there. I know that Barra Studios have got like a fleece style top. Wardrobe by Me's got another top that you could potentially go for as well. So there are loads, but I'm just giving you a few options of some of the ones that I found that really seem to recreate the looks that I was seeing on the high street. So the final thing that I want to share with you today is your typical turtleneck. And again, we're sort of edging more towards the winter months as the cooler weather comes in, which is ludicrous considering it's 24 degrees outside right now. So the first one I want to talk about is the Winnie knit top, and this is by Style Arc. The reason that I've selected this is because it's got a slightly different turtleneck line. This is not a separate piece, this is part of the construction, and it's done in a really interesting way. And I just like that to give you something different from your typical turtleneck. Then if you want a typical turtleneck, the Burda Easy Simple 6056, it's just the simple turtleneck, that's all it's called, and it really is that. You can make it up in knit fabrics and it looks fantastic. So I wanted to give you sort of like a different take on a turtleneck, which is another free pattern that you can get, which is the Monroe turtleneck by Tssuiti patterns. Now the turtleneck's quite nice, but it's got a slightly wider, oversized bottom bit to it here, so it comes out, so it just gives you a less fitted look, gives you a slightly different feel. The arms are quite tight, but it's got a dropped shoulder on it as well, which I quite like, so I just wanted to give you another option. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is the bodysuit. Now this, I've included it in my turtleneck patterns, but when I was seeing long sleeve tees and seeing t-shirts and seeing turtlenecks, I saw a lot of bodysuit versions as well. I've only come up with one pattern because it covers the brief for all of them, and it's the Rowan bodysuit by Nielson. Now I know, I think it's Amelia from Sew Amelia, who is a vlogger here on YouTube. She's made quite a few of these. She has them as a staple in her wardrobe, and she always looks fantastic in them. Bodysuit personally isn't for me, but it is an option. You do have other places like Friday Pattern Company. They've got the Elysian bodysuit, which isn't a turtleneck, it's quite a low neck. You've got, I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but there are plenty of others out there. But I thought the Rowan bodysuit literally fitted the brief of the turtleneck, the long sleeve tee, t-shirt. You had all those options there. So that is the next installment done. I hope that you've enjoyed this content. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that thumbs up if you like it, just to help other people see the vlog. And the next one that I will be doing will be the bottoms, and then we will be going into jackets and coats and blazers, cardigans type thing. So stick around to see more, and I will catch you all soon. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch. Bye.